Namaskaram and welcome to this video. In this particular video, I just wanted to try and paint a picture of the different classical Hatha Yoga practices that we offer, which are structured by Sadhguru. And then also give you, the idea is to give you some idea of maybe which practice to choose if you're not certain where to start. Yeah? So we have 5 fundamental practices plus a couple more. I want to just focus on the 5 fundamental practices for the purpose of this particular video. So the 5 fundamental practices are Angamardana, Bhuta Shuddhi, Surya Kriya, Upayoga, Yogasanas. So let's start with Angamardana. Angamardana is a very dynamic, very powerful practice. It's so fast-paced and it looks so different than what anybody might associate with yoga. They might think you're doing some kind of extreme fitness exercise or calisthenics. And even when you see the postures initially, when you learn it, you think, there's no way I can do that. But actually, you'll discover, if you take this up, you'll discover your body is much more capable than you thought of, irrespective of your age. In fact, for myself, now at the time of this recording, I am 40 years old. I'm more flexible and strong and stronger than I was in my teens and 20s. Though I was quite physically active, I was doing sports, etc., etc. So Angamardana is like a dynamic fitness routine. It's wonderful for people who feel a little dull, lethargic, or who feel they're little or a lot overweight and want to reduce their size. And especially, they want to feel more lively and alive in their body. Because whatever your weight or shape or dimensions, the main factor is not, the quality of life is not determined by the weight or the body fat percentage or these things. Beyond that, or more fundamentally than that, it is how alive and how willing is your body to do anything that you want to do. So to make your body as an instrument for whatever type of life you lead. If you want your body to be a very sharp and action-oriented tool, there's nothing like Angamardana. It's quite challenging to learn, so you have to come to Angamardana with the mindset of, I might suffer for a couple of days or a couple of weeks, might suffer some physical pains, and be okay with that. Because if you're always abstaining from anything where you sweat a little or your breath rate goes up a little, then definitely Angamardana is not for you. Not in this frame of mind, because you'll get put off immediately. But if you're okay with some physical pain and feeling that you have tendons, joints and muscles that you didn't even know existed, if you're okay with that, and then you could definitely consider Angamardana. Because in Angamardana, by the way, 97% of all the tendons, joints and ligaments are used. So it's really, really phenomenal. There's nothing like it. And also it will not create thick muscles like you get from typical strength exercises from the gym, let's say. It won't make bulky muscles. It will be lean muscle. These are the main things about Angamardana that I could share. Let's move to Bhuta Shuddhi. So Bhuta Shuddhi is a very, very different practice than the other practices. First of all, it's the fundamental practice. Bhuta means Panchabhutas, or the 5 elements, and Shuddhi means to cleanse that. So Bhuta Shuddhi is an effort to elevate the 5 elements: water, earth, fire, air, and space. To elevate these 5 elements within you to a higher possibility, to a higher level. Because in the process of Bhuta Shuddhi, which is an energy-based process, there is not a lot of physical movement. In the Bhuta Shuddhi process, we will be integrating. There's a kit of materials which we'll be using, which facilitates the integration of these elements within our system. So the idea is to take the elements in their purest form and integrate into our body so that these two start communicating and integrating. So it's basically you want to achieve the highest level of purity. Yes? Let's say you have a precious metal and you continuously refine it, yeah? To get to a certain point of 99.99999 purity, it takes a lot more effort than, let's say, 95% purity. So here we're just trying to elevate to the highest possible level. So Bhuta Shuddhi does not involve any particular asanas, so to speak. It can be done by people of any physical condition or agility or lack of agility. It's very, very subtle. It's a short, simple, subtle, powerful practice. If you feel like you're lacking connection within you or with the nature, with the creation, if you want to be more alive, just with simple things like the feeling of water when it enters you, the feeling of the air hitting your face when you're outside, or the experience of the sunlight. If you're looking to respond differently to animals, birds, but also to people and to yourself, to have an extra layer of subtlety in your approach to life, I think Bhuta Shuddhi is a wonderful possibility. Now coming to Surya Kriya. Surya Kriya is the fundamental practice in all the Surya practices. Yeah? Surya Kriya, Surya Namaskar, Surya Shakti. Surya Kriya is the original practice, out of which all the others evolved. So many people may know or have heard of or have practiced Surya Namaskar, the sun salutation. Surya Namaskar has been evolved out of Surya Kriya in order to be able to teach it to larger groups of people. Because Surya Kriya requires a certain level of attention and precision, for which it was generally kept only to certain disciples of masters in the past. Whereas Surya Namaskar was an effort to bring an element or a part of this same wonderful essence to a larger group of people, so that it could be taught and learned by people with less time commitment or less conducive lifestyle. In terms of the impact of Surya Kriya, it works a lot on balancing the hormonal levels of the body. It helps to have a more focused, organized, and efficient mind. So if you're struggling at home or at work to finish certain tasks, it always seems to take forever, and you're not able to figure out why can't I do it in less time, well, this might be a key for you to experiment with. Or if you're wishing maybe for your sleep quota to come down, or just have a general feeling of more involvement and more energy throughout your day. In fact, many people who practice Surya Kriya in the evening, they tell me they're not able to sleep. So anyway, everybody responds differently. I cannot say exactly what is going to happen to the individual person, but the most common feedbacks I've heard is very sound sleep, especially from people who used to have sleep problems or sleeplessness. Much more serenity and ease in the mind from people who are anxious or depressed. Many people feel a huge difference at work. They feel they're much more productive, much more efficient. The way people respond to them and the interactions with family members, colleagues, and friends is very different. So even though the person practicing Surya Kriya may not notice the difference sometimes, other people tell them, you are different. Somehow I feel different being around you. I feel calmer being around you. So these all are possibilities also with Surya Kriya. And it's a very slow, precise, and meditative practice. So if you're inclined towards processes like that, Surya Kriya could be a wonderful, wonderful way to start your classical Hatha Yoga journey. Now coming to Upayoga. Upayoga means sub-yoga or pre-yoga. So it is not yet yoga. So this is a style or a type of yoga which is accessible for people who are not yet sure they want to really commit to doing a daily practice or to spend more than, let's say, 15-30 minutes per day on their own well-being. If that's your situation, Upa Yoga could be a great starting point. Also because Upa Yoga practices do not require anti-stomach condition, and many of them can be practiced sitting in a chair for those people with reduced mobility. This is a great boon. The Upa Yoga, and because these practices, even if you do them wrong, will not cause any damage, the practices are also available online. You'll find them elsewhere in this channel. So these are practices which you can even do as a standalone. Each practice is 4 to 5 minutes. So even if you only have 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 15 minutes in a day, you can just get started, make use of these practices. They're really wonderful entry point, a wonderful gateway to classical Hatha Yoga. I know of people who have practiced the Upa Yoga practices quite sincerely and quite regularly, and they have told me benefits equal or even more to people who practice the other practices I mentioned till now. So it is not a linear expression or a linear experience. It has also to do with your intensity, your desire, or maybe that burning point which you've reached in your life which has brought you here right now. Upa Yoga is a wonderful possibility for people looking for immediate physical, psychological benefits, and who then might have a slightly more open mind or more inclination or more time that they want to dedicate to learn full-blown practices like Angamardana, Bhuta Shuddhi, Surya Kriya or Yogasanas. So let's talk about Yogasanas now. Yogasanas is what most people would consider as yoga. In a sense, postures which you hold for some time and then you move to the next posture, etc., etc. The practice of Yogasanas is just incredibly blissful. I cannot begin to describe the feeling after completing the full set of Yogasanas. It's like you're high, stoned, drunk, everything together, no side effects, no external influence, no hangover, no nothing. It's all the benefits of a high without any of the downsides of doing so synthetically or artificially or from the outside. Here we're trying to generate a blissful chemistry on the inside, and it will translate in so many aspects of life. You need some time to practice the Yogasana series. So if you have less than an hour that you wish to dedicate regularly to yoga, maybe this is not the right moment for this particular practice yet. But if you're willing to dedicate some time, both in terms of learning and practicing, this is our most intensive practice in terms of time commitment. But especially if you suffer from a chronic condition and you know what pain and suffering feels like for a long period of time, or for other reasons, even not a chronic disease, for other reasons, you're really at the boiling point, at the burning point in life where you say, I have to change something right now. This could be really the practice that can completely rewire how you feel inside and how you look at the outside. If you're looking to prepare yourself for higher states of meditativeness, because meditation is not just a practice. More fundamentally, it is a way of being. We try to reach there through meditation or Hatha Yoga, pranayama, etc. But ideally, we want to be meditative without having to do any practice for that. That is a long-term goal, maybe. But to become meditative, even outside the yoga mat, this is a wonderful investment that you can make for yourself. And the beautiful thing, one beautiful aspect about all these practices is 1 + 1 is 3. So if you do them together, sequentially, the impact is so much more than linear. And also, I would say these tools are a wonderful investment a real investment with great return on investment. It's really maybe the most beautiful investment you can make in yourself, in your longevity and your quality of life. I think I conveyed the most important points that I wanted to convey. If you've come this far in the video, I thank you so much. Once again, if you want to look at the Upa Yoga practices which are available online, just search them on this channel. You'll find a playlist with them. If you're ready to get in touch, you'll find information in the description below this video. That's about it for now. Thank you for coming to this channel, and happy exploration of the classical Hatha Yoga practices, and I wish you a wonderful start or continuation of your journey with classical Hatha Yoga. Namaskaram. Thank you for watching. To see more, please consider this suggested video or this suggested playlist. And if you're curious to learn the amazing classical Hatha Yoga practices structured by Sadhguru that we offer, please see a couple of suggestions right below this video. Last but not least, if you enjoyed this content, consider hitting that subscribe button right there.